Hey babes, today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook to download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/T with Monroe.
97.9 The Box. This is DJ Eric, one part of the Big Flo and Eric show. Right now, you're tuned in to Tea with Monroe. Ooh, sex, love, scandal, harassment. Oh, you're getting the tea right now. Tea with Monroe podcast. You're officially tuned in.
Hey, this is Monroe Bishop.
And this is Larry White.
And welcome to episode 61 of Tea with Monroe, the podcast. So today we have a special guest, Mr. Wayne. What's Wayne's last name? Wayne Howard, sorry. I was getting ready to say WS. What does WS stand for?
Wayne Stevens.
Wayne Stevens. Oh, okay. That's your middle name?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's got me confused.
And I set myself up in front of my accolades so that whatever I say, like, you can't really doubt it, because all you gotta do is look at my scenery and be like, oh, he might know what he's talking about. He got stuff right there.
Exactly. And we have Miss Bree Riviera on the line also. She the one introduced me to Wayne, Larry.
Okay.
You remember, Bree's in the group. You haven't met her, have you? No, she's in my Facebook group.
No, I have not met Mr. Larry.
Yes. You
Heard about him, though.
Yes, you got to come to our next event so you can meet him. So I can't see anybody now, so I'm trying to get my Zoom back together. So, Wayne, just tell us about yourself.
My name is Wayne Howard. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Currently live in the whitest place in the United States, Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh.
I am the black guy, and that's annoying. Because I can never not have done it. So no, no. I'm a professional network marketer. I'm a sports performance trainer.
Okay.
I have a consulting business. I manage and help artists build their brands.
Okay.
Help fitness people build their brands. I'm a dad, a husband. You know, that's the top layer. You know, I don't.
So what took you from New York to where you are now?
So I went to college.
Mm-hmm.
Capella.
Right there. No, I'm lying. I went to University of Pittsburgh in Bradford, but I dropped out twice. But that's not what this is about today. That's not what this is about right now.
Okay.
I met my wife there, but we didn't get together right away. That's a whole story in itself. And then because I went to college in Pennsylvania, and then we reconnected after college and just got together, and then that's how I got back here.
Okay.
That's how I got back here.
Okay, so just real quick, Bree, how do y'all know each other? Bree, is she still there?
I don't know. The phone line's still up.
Nah,
wait,
she might have.
It's gray.
I feel like
It's gray.
It's gray. She may not be there.
oh, maybe she muted herself by accident.
You tell us how you met Bree then, till she get it together.
We met in high school. Me and her been cool since high school.
Oh, so Bree from New York also?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I don't know if she told me.
Yeah, she from, I'm cool with her mom and all that. Like we go back for real. Like I've known her the longest out of a lot of people.
Okay. Yeah, when she told me that you would be good for the podcast, she messaged me. She said he would be great.
She's calling back.
Okay, she's calling back in. I don't know how to accept it.
I'm here.
Oh, hey girl.
There we go.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, we were
And don't worry about it. I already told them how we know each other, so it's cool.
Uh-oh.
Now tell
That's
us the truth, Bree.
I don't tell. I did.
What version of the truth did he give y'all?
I don't know.
I said I knew you. I said I knew you since high school. That's what I said.
And he said he was the most popular kid, and you tried to hang with him.
Oh man. You know what though? I was.
Actually, I've known him since I was in 9th grade.
Okay.
And I think I was moping around the school, and he was on some, pick your head up, what's up? So he thought I was cute. He was crushing on me.
Uh-oh.
But then the plot thickens, because I'm a bright light over here,
Okay.
and the darker shaded females could not handle that. So he decided he didn't want to be my friend no more.
Yo, is that? I'm glad. That's good segue though. That's good segue into the topic. I like the fact that you said that. That's very good.
I know. That's why I mean, I speak truth. You know that.
Okay. Well, let's get it going. So we're talking about what men want, and I don't even know why. I think I thought about this because my husband always saying that I'm confusing and he doesn't understand me, and I'm just like, I don't understand your ass either. I mean, it's so many layers to y'all. So I just want to talk about, what y'all want and what do y'all really want in women, because we jump through hoops literally to keep y'all attention, to keep y'all, wanting us, desiring us, to stay friends with you all. And no matter what we do, you still do what you do. So we want to try to understand what you want in the women, in your relationships.
I don't do anything.
Anyway, in your family, when it comes to sex, we want to know it all. So I don't know where you want to start with this. But,
So first of all, let's categorize, quote unquote, what we do. What do we do, Monroe? We still do what we do. What does that mean? What does we still do what we do mean? What does that mean?
It's like we can't. It's like y'all. Oh, I can't even explain it. Y'all cheat. You cheat. You cheat. You lose.
Who cheat?
Not you, baby.
Wait, Larry. Let's let her get it off now, because we coming back.
Okay,
we coming back, Larry.
Bree, don't leave
Don't
me.
worry, bro. I got you.
Okay. Don't let them get me now. That's why I needed somebody else on this podcast, because I knew they was coming for me. Okay, so y'all cheat. Y'all lose interest. It's like no matter what we do, it's never really good enough. It's always another hurdle that we have to achieve to make everything good with y'all. It's never, you're never, I don't want to say complacent because that's not a good word. Y'all never just satisfied with the status quo. Y'all want us to be the person that y'all met when y'all met us. But y'all don't appreciate our evolution, our evolving until our next phase of
Can
life.
I help with that a little bit?
Yes, please do.
Can I help with that a little bit?
Yes.
It's the expectation that changes all the time.
Right.
And you start one way, right? They want you to look, I'm going to call it club ready. I don't care if you met in church or at the bar or at your girlfriend's Christmas party. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. They want you to always have that, polished look or polished disposition. But then as time changes, it's, well, why you look like that? But then it's, but I want you to be comfortable. So it changes, this ever-changing process that we can't seem to keep up with. That I think that's where you're going with it.
So right now, you can't see me, but I'm doing that Birdman hand rub real quick. So now that y'all done got y'all little bars off, please don't interrupt me while I'm rapping. I want y'all to hear these bars. Okay. Larry, we about to go 10 points up right now, Larry.
Okay. All right.
Just letting you know. They tried to go on a little scoring run. We about to be 10 points up right now. Let's get it. Let's start from the very beginning. Okay. Let's talk about, because you said expectations, and I'm glad you used that word. The fact that our environments and our stages of life typically shape how we approach everything, starting from the beginning. So let's say 2025, because I don't want to count when you're a teen, because when you're a teen, you don't even know what shirt you like from one day to the next. Right. 2025, you get involved in a relationship. When you're 2025, the first image you desire to present is what you want people to think they know about you. So you do that through certain extensions. You live a fake it till you make it lifestyle at that point. You try to buy the best clothes, even though you look rich, but you be broke.
Right.
You try to find the baddest chick, and she may not even be good for you, but you tolerate a lot of those things just to present that image. Mm-hmm. Now, as you advance in stages of life, you begin. Now you're still learning how not to want this that your last stage had. Because I said this to a friend of mine the other day when he was talking about some stripper / Instagram model, he ogling or whatever. So and I asked him a question. I said, "You gonna tell me you never met a female like that?" "Oh man, I met tons of women like that." "Why didn't you marry one?" And he was stumped. The fact of the matter is, we don't marry necessarily what we think we want. We marry what feels good to us. And in order to reach that place where you realize what's good to you, you have to graduate into a certain level of manhood. The men you talking about, the ones who do all of those, those maleficent things that you mentioned, the cheating, the all that, the verbal abusiveness and all that stuff that we do.
They haven't grown up.
That's not us.
Right.
That's not us.
They haven't grown up
That's
yet.
that's the ones who have yet to advance and be comfortable
Right.
in a certain level of manhood to realize that they don't want what they think they want. Everybody want a freak till they get one.
Right.
Then all of a sudden you're too tired. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about that. And it's not even an expectation, because to be honest with you, when you get older, there comes a time and place where, okay, where are you going? I'm going to the grocery store. Then why are you dressed club ready? It's not, oh, you dressed club ready, it means something. It's not that. It's just the fact that we realize there's time and place. And we know you want our attention, but the thing about it is, we're not. So here's the message. You guys get mixed messages about us. You watch commercials, TV, movies, all that. The images you're given about men is we like tits and beer, and we want you to leave us alone while we watch the game. We only want to hang out with the fellas.
Right.
We can't wait to get alone so we can see if we still got it. None of that is true. None of that is true. It's true in some. It's true in a minority, but we all know that the more exciting minority speaks louder than the boring majority.
Right.
So where you have those guys who are flash and dash and they always want to cheat and pick up chicks here and there, like that's a minority. Most of us who are in committed relationships and have the desire to be loved, because I tell you what, that single lifestyle is not dope. It's not. Like, I remember the things I used to tolerate in certain women, like, but now when I come home and I have that assurance that a woman is there for me and I'm there for her, and I've been down on my knuckles, ashy, broke, and she still looked at me like I was the best looking guy in the room. And it was beyond my understanding. Like, those are the things we care. Those are the things we really care about. But you got to give us time to care about those things. You can't bombard us with your preconceived notions. I got you. You can't bombard us with your preconceived notions that you learned from watching some Tyler Perry movie or something like that.
But so how fair? Okay, so how fair is that for us to have to wait until you get to the point where you know what you want? Because we don't know this. I've heard this.
Talk to us.
I've heard this before, sort of, kind of, but we don't know when y'all get to the point, like you said, where y'all actually know what you want in a woman, and you're ready to be with that. We don't know, So
talk to us.
So until we do talk to you, because up until that point,
talk to us.
Let me give y'all a real life situation. Just happened last night. Okay, 2 things. So, just had a baby, wanted to go out, just, stretch my legs. So in my mind, I'm like, well, let me get cute, like the way I know he wants me to get cute in my mind, right? Trying to be a mind reader. So he got home and he was just like, oh, you look like you want to go to the strip club. And I was just like, what? He's like, yeah, you look like you want to have some panties thrown at you. And it was just like, oh, really?
Oh, wow.
And he has no tat. He'll tell you this, like himself, he has no tat. And actually, so I went and changed my top because it made me feel, I had the cleavage out. I thought it was cute, but I think I was looking kind of thotty. Let's just keep it 100. And, so I went and changed. That's what I'm saying, but that's what attracted his ass. So let's just I'm being real.
Right.
So, but I went and changed my top to something cute, but not as, risque. And then he turned around and was like, why'd you change your top? Was like, well, wait a minute. You told me I look like I wanted some drawers thrown at me. I don't want nobody panties thrown in my face.
All right, but
and he was just like, well, hold up.
Please.
What?
I need to know what Larry has to say about this.
About this particular...
I'm gonna let you finish. Okay. I need to hear what Larry has to say about this.
About her situation?
About what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay, so I changed my top to something a little more, like I said, conservative, and I'm just like, okay, cool. But then he has a comment, well, why'd you change? And I'm just like, well, because I listened. Apparently, what I was wearing was not, either appropriate or to your liking or whatever the case may be. But I changed, and dialogue continues with, you're trying to read me. Why don't you stop trying to read me? I came home. Let's go out, and then we, go from there. So at that point, I'm not even sure if he even wants to go out anymore because I started looking thotty, I guess. Changed it up, but that wasn't appropriate either. So it was like, damn if I do, damn if I don't. And that's why I say the expectations change, because you start one way, so you think you're looking cute, you're meeting the expectation, but then it's something wrong. Or so we think, because we're led to assume. And you know what that word assume does.
Right.
Well, I don't even think he
So
wanted to
that's
go
a real
out.
life situation, and it just happened. And that's on a very small scale. You know, no other chicks involved or anything like that, but it definitely almost ruined date night.
Well, it sounded like he really was irritated with you or with another issue because it was such a petty thing. And if he wanted you to change shirts, he would have just told you, "Hey, I don't like what you got on. I think you showing too much." But it sounded like he was irritated the way he came at you, or either is that his normal way of?
He sounded insecure.
Well, is that his normal way of dealing with you, like to give you a little, what is that?
Critical.
No, it's not critical. It's a passive aggressive type of
It was passive aggressive, and honestly, he is, like I say, he does not have a whole lot of tact, so he just talks like that. And I don't think it was a jealous thing, or
no, I don't think it was jealous. I think he was either he didn't really want to go with you. Did he want to go out? Did y'all go out after that?
That's exactly what I said. I went into the restroom and I was like, hey, if you don't feel like going out, I know you had a long day. Obviously, I've been at home with the baby all day. We can cancel date night and do it another night. He was like, well, I came home. It's whatever you want. So the indifference.
Can I take that? Hold on.
You got it.
You pause right there. Can I take that? Can I ask you a question? Why didn't you? Now, I'm not blame shifting. Mm-hmm. This is simply a question.
Okay.
Why didn't you find out if he wanted to go out beforehand? Like a text on the way home, like, hey, I'm getting my clothes to get.
He texted me, and he was I'm like, he was the one. You got a sitter. Okay, let's roll. This is all him. But he was waiting out traffic, and I don't know if by the time he got home the mood shifted from I wanted to I'm not really feeling it anymore. Either way, I would have understood. So I did put that out there. I was very direct. That's another thing that men ask for. I've been told, they want direct, but if you're too direct, you're bossy.
Here's the thing. And I want to say something about you.
Oh, goodness.
No. You come on, Mom. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do none of that. You know, having been in the relationships you've been in, you know exactly how you want to navigate. Yes? Yeah. Not everybody has that clarity. So now that's something that you have to work on. I mean, that's a work thing. Because to be honest with you, when me and Jody, I would say like around year 6, it was we came to the table basically at the same time saying, if you don't want to do something, you tell me you don't want to do it, and that'll be it. It won't be, I don't want to do it, and then I carry an attitude about it. It was an agreement. If somebody don't want to do something, we ain't got to do it, and we keep it moving. Now, a lot of times, and the same thing you said, stop trying to, he thought you was trying to read him. A lot of times we try to read one another, like we try to get the jump. And you know why we try to get the jump? Because we feel like once we have advantage over whatever the interaction is, we now control it. It's not right. That's both sides do that. It's not correct. It's not about who controls the interaction. It's about how the interaction is navigated by the two individuals. So once people reach that maturity with one another, like, okay, this is how we navigate these kind of situations and go forward. So like tonight, Mackenzie had a little party. That's my daughter. She had a little party, and there were technical difficulties with the projector and all this other stuff. And I'm the only person that knows how to do that. So I did that. Then there was a little emotional breakdown situation. My wife doesn't handle emotional situations really good. I'm more of the emotional support guy. So we had this long discussion with Mackenzie about her attitude. Then before I left, Mackenzie still had a little attitude, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to ruin this party. Girls, slide down the slide. I was tossing this little thing. They were trying to catch it on the way down. I lightened the mood, and I got right up out of there. And so when you navigate situations like that, and she appreciated it, the point of me saying that is we have to get to the place where we appreciate how the navigation is happening. Because arguments don't have to happen. They don't have to happen if you navigate incorrectly, if you're talking to one another. So it's not about what men want per se, because we do want you to be direct. But there's direct, there's talking to, there's talking at, and there's different things. Because you have to get it in action. If you do something to me, let's use Monroe as an example, with Larry, not with me. So Monroe, you say something to Larry. He's not feeling it. He has to have permission. has to have permission to say, hey, well, 1 second, before we go any further, I want to say I didn't like how that came out. Did you mean for it to sound like that? And if you and just you're being a mature person can say, you know, maybe that did come. I don't know. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't. But if he took it that way, then there had to be something. Right. So now y'all can talk about it. Then there's a growth process. There's a maturation, brick by brick. So it's not that you don't talk to us because you do, but sometimes we don't. In the middle of whatever you venting about, because we both take turns venting, we don't stop it and actually go, wait a second, what did you mean by that? Because that you mentioned that before, or this feels like this. Am I right? And because you don't want to assume. Sabrina just talked about assuming. You don't want to assume. So we have to be able to stop inaction of any of interactions and be like, okay, what did that mean? And you'd have less and less problems and less miscommunication issues once that happens.
You're talking about two logical people who are not in their feelings and not emotional.
So let me
I was gonna say because that thank you because I was about to jump in and be like, what?
I live like he said that's not real life.
Right.
So let me
Fights don't have to happen, but feelings do get hurt, and people shut down due to hurt feelings. Because I'm gonna be honest, my feelings got hurt at that point for several reasons. One, because he ain't like my thotty ass top. Two, I changed and I felt like I was a little more, Steve, and he still ain't.
And he still wasn't happy. Just can't please him.
I mean, Sabrina, if we being honest, you can have cleavage in a turtleneck. We're not gonna lie to one another, right? You can have cleavage in a turtleneck. You can have cleavage in a turtleneck. We know you. You know what I'm saying?
Don't hurt her feelings now.
Okay.
That's my girl.
So now that everybody gonna go look at my Instagram, let's go look at my Facebook.
Let's go see what she wore out the other night.
So let me ask this question. I think arguments is a healthy thing. It's not a bad thing.
Right.
But you got to argue to try to come to a solution. You can't fight. Yes, fighting fair is one thing. You shouldn't criticize each other name call or nothing like that.
Talk about your laws.
But I would say this: when you actually when you're having a fight or you're having an argument, it should be an argument to try to come to a solution of how to solve the problem. It shouldn't be a lot of people try to argue and they try to be like who's winning the argument. They don't forgot what the argument is about. They just want to win. So it's that competition you get into with your spouse, which you should try to get around that. But now with her, with Bree, with her particular situation, I just think her husband was irritated, and he just wanted to irritate her. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, because y'all are petty like that.
Yeah, but I think it happens in both ways. I think he was just irritated. So. But I like the advice you gave.
But I want to go back to what he said earlier when he kept saying, you talk to us. So I found that not necessarily in personal experience, but just in general, that men have a tendency they get to that point where you say where they want to be in this whatever type of relationship that is you just mentioned earlier. They marry who they feel like they love, but that's not the person they genuinely want to be with. So when you got this one woman here sitting here jumping through hoops to try to get this man to love her the way she deserves to be loved, he's still in that mindset of, I'm not there yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's not fair. So I think men should be the ones to communicate and not marry somebody just because they feel like it's time for them to get married, or I love this girl. I can make this thing work. She all right. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's not fair to us as women because when we marry, usually when we're marrying, we are marrying because we are marrying the person we want to spend the rest of our life with, not as a convenience. Not a majority of it, not everybody, but the majority of women. So it's not it's not fair what you said earlier to coast us along and just talk, and then when you get to the point I'm ready, here you are, it's 30 years later, let me just say 20 years later, you meet somebody that you really want to be with, and I don't gave you 20 years of my life. Then we got some acrimony shit going on now because I done been with you all this time. I done did all this to build you up as a man, and you gonna take all that to somebody else. We got a problem, and that's where
That's what women think they own you.
It's not true.
Well, here's the thing: like everything is personal history,
Yeah.
so you have to look at how a man was raised. Like I never thought that I would be married. First of all, like just coming up, you know what I mean? And because my parents split when I was 12, and they saw each other do some rough times or whatever.
Right.
But I looked around, and there weren't enough people married to validate me saying that would work for me.
Right.
So when I did find that person, and I believe that a lot of times we think we know what you guys want. We go, okay, she want to be in a relationship. She want to feel like this. She wants all of this stuff. When most of y'all, and again, that's that loud minority that wants all those, like that wants the television romance stuff.
We want Christian Grey.
You know, I mean, we think that's what.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
And it's like, so like, do I have to be this person that I'm not? So, but I think once you know what kind of person you have, I think you deal in that realm a lot better.
Right.
You deal in that realm a lot better. Like if you know you got a guy that's not verbal, don't expect him to sit there and have a conversation with you for 20 minutes, interactive. When you vent for 18 of the 20 minutes, and then you go, well, you're not gonna give me nothing to say? You're not gonna give me nothing back?
You have to know who you're marrying. You have to know who you're marrying. You really do.
Yeah. So I mean, I think a lot of times when people get into relationships, well, first of all, these dudes, and I listen, these dudes nowadays, they get on my nerves. None of them know how to talk to women right. They don't have no couth. They don't have no savoir faire, no nothing.
They don't have to.
They don't have to. Now, I'm a female, and I will say they don't have to.
These young girls.
They don't have to, Wayne, because we make it too easy. Go ahead, honey. Sorry. No, you go ahead. No, go ahead. Let's navigate.
No, you got it. You got it.
I'm good.
Larry the OG, I want to hear what he got to say. I think Larry, hold on, let's just get this out of the way. I'm 40. Am I older than y'all?
No,
I'm older than you. I'm 48.
I'm 46.
Okay. Right. Okay, because I didn't want to talk to you like I was older than you. No. But now I know. Go ahead.
You good. Lost my train of thought. No, I was saying that these young guys, these young girls make it where these young guys don't have to do anything. They can say, I can buy you a Happy Meal, and they're ready to do whatever. It's sad, but I was even telling my daughter one time, I was like, why do this is your boyfriend? She was in a particular situation. She had a boyfriend that's older than her. And I said, you have to put value on yourself. You doing all these things with these boys, and then if you needed help or something, he don't even offer to help you. He doesn't value you. He said, even if he couldn't, he should say, how can I help you? What can I do to help you? He did none of that. So I'm like, you have to have value as a young lady. You have to put some value to who you are as a woman. You know, you're the one that holds all that. You don't give all of that. You don't give all your attention, your time to a guy, and don't expect him to actually try to put you in a I don't even know what's the word I want to use, to build you up, to try to help you in a tough situation, instead of just want to bail away and wait till your situation over. Then you want to come back around when it's fun, when it's time to have fun. So I just think I think these young girls make it too easy for these guys.
And that's why the guys don't know how to talk, because they don't have to. They don't have to.
They don't have to do anything for these girls, for them to go to bed with them,
It's true.
You know, these girls are being told that they can do everything the same thing as the guys can do, and a woman can't do what a man can do. They can do it more, but
Amber Rose say they can.
Well, I understand what Amber Rose say, but
look at face. I see. You know what? Hold on, Larry. I'm gonna tell you right now. I know now. I know. You know what? I don't know you, but now I know you be sitting there in your little chair. You got your little fishing hook. You be like, I'm gonna get this. Hold on, real quick. I just.
Yeah. Well, but let me say
this. You're like, yeah, he on the hook now. I'm like, yo, I see you. I see you, Monroe. Okay.
This is my thing.
I'm just saying.
If women, is a lot what's happening in this society is this feminism, where women believe that something's happening here. Women believe that they can do everything that a man can do. they're telling these young girls that you can sleep with as many guys as you want to. You're a woman, and you should be able to do the same thing a man. And,
Now wait a minute, just real quick, Wayne. It says my meet because I have the free version, so my meeting is over in 9 minutes. So we could continue to talk, and it's just gonna stop recording, right? Do you know?
No, it shuts off completely.
Really? It didn't shut off last night. We talked for over an hour last night.
I have no idea. You can upgrade it.
I don't want to upgrade. I don't want to pay for that. I mean, hold on. How much is the upgrade?
I don't know.
$14.
You gonna pay for that?
Yeah, just put it on your card.
On my card?
Yeah, just put it on your card.
Oh, damn.
Y'all can go Dutch. We still doing that, right? That's still a thing, right? We still doing that?
No, we don't do that.
We not still doing that?
No.
Oh.
Some things, it depends on what it is, but see, that's another thing.
So even with what you said, it's hard for us to know what we want if you're like everybody's being fed messages. Now everybody's an individual, but if we're being honest, we're affected by the messages we hear about one another. Like I can't enter into a situation and say there's no way I could see a woman playing in the NBA without knowing I'm gonna receive some static. Because I know I am. But if we're being honest, there's no way a woman can play in the NBA. That kind of impact is not, you can't bang into a woman like you can a dude. Like that's just physiologically not the same. So we're being fed messages of combativeness constantly. We're rarely fed messages of unity between men and women. So it's like, you know, so I mean, and I said this, you know, it's crazy. I talk to women all the time because I love how they shape their thoughts. The ones who actually allow themselves to be that deep. And I saw a lady, and she's over here. She's like, "Oh, Le'Veon Bell. I mean, what I wouldn't do, blah blah blah." And I'm laughing because her husband looks like an old football coach, like not the good kind. Like, so I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, well, why didn't you marry yourself a Le'Veon Bell? Why not? She was an older white lady, and because it wasn't prudent to do that. So you can lust after something, and that's the other thing. You can lust after something, and that's not the same thing as knowing that's what you want. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like women who go to Chippendales. Like I'm gonna look at them, but I wouldn't feel secure if I had a Chippendale man going out every night. Quite personally, when my wife goes out and she tries to be conservative, I'm like, you're not gonna show off that cleavage. I say that because I am secure in the fact that like I take care of her, she takes care of me. I want her to feel and look her best. I want her to walk into a room and strut into that room like she feel like ain't nobody touching her at all. Yeah. That's how I want her to feel. I want a woman to feel their most confident. I want my daughter to feel like the most confident person in the room because I know what insecure women do. I've seen it. I've experienced it. And seeing what insecure women do, how they live, the way they think, the way they reason, the things they allow in their lives. I don't want that for my wife and daughter. Be confident. Walk in the room with your head up and your shoulders back. Let's get it. So if you find yourself a man who wants to build you up, keep him. Work around his rough edges. If he don't like to talk a lot, talk in spurts. You know, if he wants you to be quiet while he's watching the game, be quiet and watch the game. Don't ask him the rules. What do you look like, Vin Sully? He ain't here to be the announcer for you.
We lost Bree.
Did we?
That was like about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she must have hung up or something. She'll call back if she wants to.
Well.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. What about? Then we talk about women. We talk about sex. So let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. So one of my, I learned this. Well, let me say this. So I had this friend girl named Sabrina, and it wasn't your Sabrina. I was living in Florida.
My Sabrina.
It was leaving. We was living. We living in Florida, and she was telling me that, she was telling me all these sexual things to do to satisfy my previous husband at the time because she did all these things for this man. And, but come to find out, as the stories kept coming, she told me that she would dress up in these black cat suits and she would follow him. And one time she jumped out of a tree and ran up to this apartment complex, this duplex, beat on the door, and her husband, answered the door in his underwear. So, and I said to her, so you just got through saying over this course of time that you do this, you tickle this, you know, you do all these things to keep him interested in you, but he's still seeking sex outside of your marriage. So what is it? Let's just say it's a outside of they having problems, outside of mental problems, or well, let's keep it just general. In general, what do men want sexually from their wife?
There wasn't nothing she could do. This dude.
Well, not her specifically. I'm just saying.
Well, she means in the general sense, what do we want?
Yeah. When you're married, or even if you're dating, long-term dating, or just I want to say marriage. You're married. What do you want from your wife sexually to keep? I know every man is different, because I put in my podcast group the other day about a woman who wanted sex 3 times a day, 3 times a week, all day, those 3 times a week, and the men was like, "What the hell? Hell no, I can't do that." You know, and the women was like, "Oh, you weak," or whatever. So it's different for every person. But just in general, what do y'all look for? What do y'all look for in y'all women sexually to keep y'all there in the relationship without having to? Because is sex the reason men cheat? Let me just ask that first. Is it sex?
I don't think so. I think it's just like anything. When you're happy or when you excited about. When a man actually finds a woman he actually is excited about and want to be with, usually they are into that woman. They have no reason to want to go anywhere else.
Then why? So if you find somebody that's more excited than the person you with, then why stay with the person you with and cheat? Why not just go to the person that excites you?
I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. When the emotional connection is lost, a lot of people do not. I swear, we are not. Men are not that simple.
That's right.
We're not. It's not like, oh, look at that butt. I gotta hit that from the back. I'll be back. Like that's not what it is. When the emotional connection is lost, the physical connection dwindles. Then, if I'm in an emotional state where I'm not emotionally fulfilled, because whether he talks or not, just because a man don't talk does not mean he doesn't operate in his emotions. Whether he talks or not, somebody else is going to fill that emotional void for him to be confident, to be himself again. Then that physical will come. And so with that being said, the emotional cheating is what y'all really got to worry about.
Right.
Don't worry about where I go pipe something at. That's not, don't worry about that.
Right.
Worry about that woman that has those deep conversations with me, because now she knows me. And now that she knows me, now she knows what I like. And let's just end it right now on some, not end it, but let's just I'm going to squash this right now. Don't tickle nothing on me. If you see me clinch up and I hit you with the, don't cop, right. If you see me,
I like that.
Don't tickle nothing on me.
That's right.
Don't. Listen. There's nothing more beautiful. There's nothing more beautiful, and I want you to understand this, Monroe. Mm-hmm. There's nothing more beautiful to us than your naked form.
Yeah. Okay.
All that. Victoria's Secret has been making billions of dollars off of women's insecurity for so long. I gotta put this lace on. Why? I'm gonna wind up taking that off anyway. Mm-hmm. Might as well just be naked, save the money. If you want to buy something, get us some Kettle One vodka real quick, spice up the coffee so we could be hyped and intoxicated at the same time. Right. That'll get you somewhere. But nah, it's just
it's that simple. That's all y'all want when it comes to sex.
Man, we are so simple when it comes to sex. We are so simple when it comes to sex. Now, me personally, and dudes like me, we get excited when we know we killing you, because that's where we get our pride from. Like, We get up. Right. You don't notice. Right. We get up and in our mind, we do a dance. Like when we see you, when we see you all, and you done got yours, you done got 3 or 4 off. We get up, we go to the bathroom, and we look at ourselves in the mirror. It's like, my nigga, yeah, my nigga. Forget what the magazines be talking about. We just put in work right now. We be like, it's not a joke. That's how we feel inside. We might not do the physical dance. I do. Right. We might not do the physical dance. But that's how we feel. When we know we pleasing you, we good, because now that takes care of, we not insecure about nobody talking about, hey girl, you know I could. But you in your mind, you like, my man just broke me off something sick the other night. You can't tell me nothing. And he paying my bills, and he could cook, and he could.
Yeah.
Nah, when we pleasing you, that's when we're at our most confident. When we feel like we not doing everything we need to be doing,
right,
that's when our insecurities come.
Okay.
Like when we lose a job, or when we take a pay cut, or even if we even pay a bill late, if we got a bill that's late, we go, man, I feel less than a man because of this. And if we feel less than a man, then we think you think it.
Okay.
So all of that myth where we want you to come through and you gotta man, if you don't calm down, trying to, like, there's balls down here. You can't be bouncing on those. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you know, like, you know, like, I'm just saying, like,
that's preference, right? That's preference, because people like different things.
There's
right?
some people that like loud minority.
Yeah.
Loud minority. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we're under a weird misconception. That's why I said I sit and I talk to women. What I learned about women,
You think you know?
So let me tell you something. No, I do know this. I do know that, you know, you don't always need the microphone size. Know what I mean?
That's true.
But you would and R&B songs make us think you need sex in the shower, sex for 8 hours. You need silk.
They make us feel we
sheets.
need that short red dress on, these heels on. They make us feel that way.
They make it, yeah. They tell y'all, hey, your man likes this, and you at home like, who gonna clean up all these rolls? Never mind. Let me get the vacuum clean. So it's like we need to stop.
Right.
We need to stop being so bombarded and really talk to each other, get with each other. Go for walks. Don't go for walks. Sit on the porch with a cold drink and be like, hey, what's up with you? I don't know. What you want to do in the next 5 years? Like, talk to each other. Like, open up. Like, be mad simple and basic with the conversation. Mad basic. Like, and then get. So, you know, have you've been thinking about trying some new stuff and then she look at you like.
So how is that? Go ahead, Will.
It's amazing that people can be together for years and they don't really know each other. They don't tell each other what they really want or what they really want to do. They'll tell someone else. They'll tell some buddy or some, like, a random chick or whatever it is. They'll tell somebody else what they want, or they go to a woman to tell a dude or whatever, or her girlfriends, and we never tell the person you with. And it's just it's true what it's saying.
That is very true. Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. Now I lost my train of
We love y'all. Like, we want to love and be loved.
Right.
That's it. We want to get, you know, like, you have a hug, and I'm saying this to Larry, like, you have a hug Monroe after one of them days where you felt like just socking a dude or slamming your car door so hard that it fell off, but then she'll hug you and not say a word. And like all of that just comes melting off. Yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah, a woman can change your whole mood.
Your whole situation.
Yeah.
I got this list from this guy off of YouTube. He said, y'all want to be happy and to be able to make us happy. It's tied to your sense of self-worth. Y'all want us to take interest in what interests you. Women who initiate sex. You want to be praised and acknowledged. You want encouragement from a woman to do other things, like, he said, like, you know, go hang out with your friends. Go do, you know, just want encouragement to live your life. You want confidence in you, respect. You want to feel trusted, and you want us to let you lead. Those all sound pretty good.
That's for a man that's doing the right thing. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. All of those. Yeah.
You know, having been a man who messed up before, and I say that, I don't say that proud.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't say that proud.
Right.
Being a man who messed up before, I want there to be a moment where that scar heals.
Right.
Because he said a man is doing the right thing. Because we do have to include those men who are actually human. Right. And not the ones who, in Tyler Perry movies, who don't never mess up. Not that guy.
Right.
Like we want for that scar to be healed. but we also want to be part of that process. We want to have those discussions. You know what I mean? We want if you see something that triggers that feeling that you had, we want you to say, hey, when you were talking to such and such, I felt the kind of way, even if it was nothing. Share it, but to hold it and then be.
Are you saying that's the woman? That's the woman you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about as men? Y'all do the same thing sometimes. Y'all hold it in and
do we?
Stuff. I think so. Larry,
I never been cheated on, so I don't know.
Well, I don't mean like cheating. I'm just saying in general.
Wait, no. When I was legit, I did. When I was 22, I did.
Yeah.
And she got mad at me because I yelled at her for cheating on me. But she was a youngin', so she wasn't really with it in her mind. So I get it. I was like, all right, you just wanted to easy out.
Yeah, so cheating is kind of different because you do change the dynamics of trust, and that stuff has to be rebuilt. And everything that I mentioned, if that's what it takes for y'all, which I want in a relationship, that has to be rebuilt all over again because
so
trust
that's the process.
Yeah,
he was talking about. So.
Yeah, but just in general, I think.
So I got a question for you, Monroe, about cheating. I got a question for you.
Okay.
The depth of the scar, right? The depth of the scar of infidelity. What does that depend on? Does it depend on who it is and how you compare yourself to that woman? Is it what took place, or what dictates the depth of the scar? Because all scars ain't the same.
Right, that's true.
That's true.
Well,
what dictates the depth of the scar?
Well, my ex, he cheated on me several times, and one of the things he said is that I wasn't having sex enough. But again, he didn't look at the fact that he was mentally and verbally and physically abusive. So I was withdrawn. And it was, honestly, he said it was never really anybody that he could compare to me. It's just something that he did to in his mind hurt me, another form of hurting me. So for me, and I did because I am thinking as a woman at that point in my life, because I would never put up with that abuse again, but I'm sticking by you. In my mind, you have all these issues, these mommy issues, these daddy's issues. You went through all this stuff, and I'm justifying while you kicking my behind and talking to me the way you're talking to me. I'm doing all these things to try to make you feel, I guess, like a man. We can't make a man feel like a man, but in my mind, I'm thinking I could do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And you still go out and do this, even when I'm giving myself to you in some of my lowest moments. You know what I mean? So I think it just depends. But I know if much as I love Larry and I know he is my everything, if he did something like that to me, I think at this point in my life, now when we were younger, like 10 years ago,
what you did?
Hell, I may wanted to join, but no, I'm just playing. But
I'm gonna talk about that too before we get off, because not everybody want those either.
but now I think I will have such a big sense of insecurity because I'm older, my body's changing, so I definitely, my scar would be not necessarily, because in my mind, somewhere in my mind, I feel like all men cheat, even though I know all men don't cheat. But I think me personally, my biggest insecurity, my scar would be who it's with, and is she better? Was she better than me? Is she look better than me? Was she better than me?
Did she look better than me?
Yeah.
Is she prettier than me? Is
yeah.
What? Is she? They want to know how old she is.
Especially if like if she's doing her tricks that I don't do. I'm just walking around naked, and she doing backflips on the D.
I think when
you don't want that.
Yeah.
but I'm just saying if that's what she was doing and that what excited him, I'm just like, well, damn.
We're not that simple. It really isn't that simple.
Right.
If a guy, usually when a guy cheats, it's something within him why he's cheating. It's not
that's an emotional disconnection with the female he's with, or whatever.
Something is happening in his life.
I think it's different. Like he said,
it's the same reason the women cheat. People try to make it. women cheat for the same reasons. It's using an emotional situation.
Yeah.
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 So,
And that's the thing we need to realize. We're not that different.
right.
That's the one thing I always like to point out. Like, women love to feel like we're that different. We're not that different. Y'all want us to shut up during certain movies too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want room to not look your best, and we bet not say nothing about it.
Right.
Like, we want that same room.
Right.
We want the same things. It is not that different. We want emotional security, emotional connection. We want sex is going to be good with the person you're most connected with. Just because something is fast and furious and she making noise and whipping the hair all over the place and she got the camera out like this, destroys that information, first of all, before you put that phone away. No, I'm just playing. Anyway, so like, just because she into all that, don't mean that those exciting things. Like, some people like motorcycles, some people like classic cars.
Right.
Motorcycles are far more dangerous.
Yeah.
A classic car is more stable. We like stability. We love the idea of coming through that door, whether you get home first or not. We love the idea of coming through that door, seeing those pictures on the wall, our history that we built together, looking at the roof we built together. That those little things add to us.
So
you know what I mean? You can't have it with somebody.
When does complacency step in?
When communication dies.
Okay.
When communication dies, when you're just going through the motions. You know what I'm saying? I've been married for 13 years. And the thing about it is first of all, both of our backgrounds are like so dysfunctional that we complement one another.
Okay.
Like, she's great with money. I am horrible.
I'm horrible. He's great.
I bought 3 pairs of sneakers this last month. I ain't even meet him. Look, Larry mad at me. Larry like, boy, you need to get your finances and your life right.
Yes, he don't play about that money. I'm the one about it.
Give me your phone number so we can talk about it. Larry want to talk to me. He looked at me like he's like, boy, you better. Oh man, look. He's disappointed. Larry is disappointed in me right now.
Hey, I have to keep her under control. The spinning now. It's just. I mean, like, how many pairs? I mean, she think I'm very simple. She say. I tell her, I don't. She say, get them white pair of tennis right there. I be like, I already got no pair of white tennis.
But it's a different style of white tennis. I'm just like, come on, dude. You need different styles.
I don't.
Go ahead.
I don't want to tell you how many pairs of shoes I have, Larry.
But see, that's the thing. I don't think I need all of those. But she likes to dress me up, and she likes to, me to look a certain way. So
because you are essentially an extension of her.
Right.
He keeps me.
You are a portion of her confidence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You are an extension of her confidence. So it's like, even with my wife, like, she'd be like, oh, I don't really need this for myself. I'm like, girl, you better buy them jeans. I see what they're doing right now. We be in the store, and like, I'll just be at her. And I do that for 2 reasons. One, because that's really how I be feeling. 2, I want her to understand how attractive I find her.
Right.
And that's the other thing. We want to make sure we make you feel attractive. We in this together. Like, we're not on separate planes, scheming.
You hear that? You buy the damn jeans, honey.
I'm learning. I'm taking it in.
Romance. Y'all like to be romanced?
Yes.
How?
We do like romance. I like romance.
You know what romance is to me?
What?
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere. Let's go to a lodge. Let's go hotel in a different city. Let's go to a dinner, me and you. I don't care if we dress up or don't dress up. That's not important.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly.
Let's do things where we slow it down.
Right.
Do y'all like it when?
Because life is a rat race.
Right. Do you like it when we initiate that? Like.
It all depends. Sometimes we want to take y'all.
Mm-hmm.
But there's sometimes where I just want to be chilling.
Oh, he's a bad planner, so I can't.
Let me tell you what I like about romance. When I do something and it pleases her and she just all over me, it makes her want to be all over me. That I find that romantic. It can be even right here. Just get romantic when you may say, let's say I bought you something that you, like you say, you always tell me.
What could you buy me to make me just be all over you?
It could be something simple.
Like what? Like what?
I'm not gonna say like a flower or nothing like that.
I don't like flowers, so
I know that. So I'm gonna say like just come home with a bottle of wine
That'll do
that she likes.
That'll do it.
It gets her like, oh,
In a red box movie, that'll do it.
and she get all excited and wants to spend time with me.
I do.
That's romantic to me.
And then he comes in his home office and goes to work while I'm sitting there with my bottle of wine.
She always go there.
I'm just saying. So anyway, so I have an anonymous tea. Anonymous tea is when people send me in their emails or text me or whatever. So somebody texts me with my Google number, and they sent me this. I read it earlier, and I was just like, ugh, but let me see what y'all think. I like a guy, but he's not interested in me. He likes my sister. I guess I'm too fat and light-skinned for him. I guess he likes his black women darker with long hair. I'm hurt, and at the same time, I want to be petty and tell my sister that he has a sex addiction, that he likes for men to perform oral sex on him due to him being molested as a child. Me and him have the same childhood. I was molested by a family member. He stopped talking to me because he started liking me and telling me stuff that you only tell a girlfriend. He stopped all communication, but later tells me he's not romantically interested in me, but rather my sister. I don't want her to talk to him, but now she's friends with him, and I can't sit across from him at a holiday dinner knowing that I like him. Help.
Yeah, she's confused.
So what you might guess, Wayne? So what you?
I'm confused, Wayne.
It's a lot.
I'm a pass the ball. I'm a pass the rock. Like I'm bringing it up. I'm making eye contact with my small forward. I'm gonna pass the rock to Larry. Is that right there?
That was a lot.
It was.
It's a lot.
He has a sexual
addiction. Like he likes men to have perform oral sex on him.
He's not straight. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's bisexual.
That's a loss.
Yeah.
That's a lot. No,
And then
he's gay.
Oh, you don't believe in bisexuality?
He gay.
Okay.
Thank you. And then not only that, it says that she likes him.
She likes him, but he's more interested in the sister. It's like he initiated.
He's not even interested in the sister. I don't believe that. I don't believe.
Let's focus on her and what she need to do because it clearly
she got an issue.
She clearly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's damaged.
Right. She's more damaged.
She's damaged.
And she should
She's
tell
damaged.
her sister. She should tell her sister something because, you know,
but she would only be telling to be petty because she doesn't want to lose his friendship.
Well,
how you?
I don't know.
See, I don't have no help for her.
That's a lost cause.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that's when you look at your car. Like you ever get the car and you just look at your car and be like.
I don't know what to do.
Normally, I have a lot to say about stuff, but I really feel like I just want to give her a hug. I mean, this is really sad. I mean, you're interested in somebody who is broken as you are. You say y'all both were molested. That's the connection of friendship there, seems to me. Mm-hmm. You know, he seems to be interested in men sexually, but likes the way your sister looks more based on physical appearance. It's just really convoluted. And I wouldn't be friends with him. I mean, because it's not healthy. And if your sister decides to like him and be in his life, I think you owe it to her to tell her that he's sleeping with men.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not because to be petty and to hurt your sister, but to protect her.
Blood thicker than water.
Yeah, from getting hurt for one. But I think she's afraid of losing his friendship is the reason why she is keeping all this in. But she likes him. Okay, no.
Yeah. Anyway, next subject.
I mean, that was it. So I want to talk to you about your internet connection is unstable. Okay, did you pay the bill?
Yeah.
Okay, Wayne. So I saw on your Facebook page, you were working out today. You was just first of all, he did this video because somebody challenged him to arch his eyebrows. I don't even know if I want to talk about that. But then he did this video. And
why not? Why not? Like, what I do? Like,
do you typically arch your eyebrows?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I've been doing that. Yeah.
Now, see,
I've been doing that for a while.
So that's not gay. That's metrosexual.
No, it's not gay.
Because my youngest son, gets his eyebrows arched, and Larry used to give him the hardest time. Why is he going to get his eyebrows arched?
Why are you going to take a 13 or 14-year-old kid to get his eyebrows.
He asked me. He said his eyebrows. He wanted them
you
arched.
let him grow into his eyebrows, and when he become a grown man,
He still to this day gets his eyebrows arched.
You started.
When did you start arching your eyebrows?
I think the camera froze on us.
Now I used to model when I was young.
Oh, you did?
I used to model when I was young.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like I always like the way it made my face look. Like my eyebrows are super thick.
Okay.
Like so I like.
You were modeling, so you was in the industry. She was taking him.
Yeah.
She was taking him to go get his eyebrows arched with her at 14 years old.
Because he asked me to.
Maybe you know what happened though? I'm gonna tell you what happened. Some girl was like, "Ooh, your eyebrows will look nice if." Some girl got listen. The reason we do anything.
Yeah.
The reason we always said we do everything because of
the reason we do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason we work out.
Right.
The reason we work out. The reason we don't work out. The reason we eat whatever we eat. The reason we don't eat. If you're white vegan, you vegan too. I don't care what you're talking about. That's really what it is.
Yeah, I stopped eating meat, so I'm kind of like forcing that on him. Yeah.
I don't eat no more. I'm losing all kind of weight.
Watch, but hey, check it out. Watching you get them abs in, right? And you take your shirt off to wash the car. When you take your shirt off to wash the car, she gonna be like, "Why you got your shirt off to wash the car?" Like, because I got these abs now. What you want me to do?
Eat some meat.
I ain't.
Yeah. So you was working out, and I saw in your description you said you had this disease. I can't pronounce it. So could you talk to us about that?
AL amyloidosis is it's a blood disease where protein deposits spill into your vital organs. For me, they affected my heart, and I think the doctors think it affected my kidney too, even though there's no trace of it in there. But I do have certain kidney malfunctions. Like my urine has a lot of protein in it, and you can tell by the way it's foamy and all that. But it attacked my heart, so it makes my heart. My heart can pump blood, but it can't expand as far. So my heart right now is only operating at 25%. When I first got diagnosed, I only had 4 weeks to live. And it's an aggressive disease. How old was I when it 38? I was 38 when they found it.
Oh, okay. So you've had this all your life?
Well, he found
no, they found it at 38. So what happened is they wanted to attack it as quickly as possible. So they put me on 7 months of chemotherapy, which was unnecessary because they wanted the chemo to fail so they can do another treatment. And then that put it in remission, but they took me off too soon and it came back. So then I had to go on treatment again, but it was just immunotherapy. And I had this long process. So for me to be in the gym, and able to push 100% plus 25%, so 125% of my body weight off is a huge deal because I was almost not living. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's really what it was. Thank you.
I've never heard of this before. So this is something that
you know, it's crazy. A lot of people are dying now. Not a lot of people, but more people are dying now from it because it's misdiagnosed.
As what?
So if a guy has shortness of breath, he'll think maybe I just something like I had asthma, or so they'll get it checked out. But nobody's checking for amyloidosis. So what happens is your heart seizes up, and when you die, it's typically from a heart attack because your heart fails, or you have other organs that fail, and then your heart has to overcompensate and try to figure it out.
My brother.
So
my brother passed from something similar, pulmonary hypertension, I believe.
They thought it was asthma. They were treating him for years with asthma. Yeah.
And he was an athlete, and the more he did, the worse it got. And he was like in the Olympics and everything else, and when he finally found out he had 6 months, he was trying to get it was actually a lung. It was his lungs, from where the lung and the heart or some valve or something that was like, he was getting, I don't think it was working. The lungs
had high blood pressure or something like that. It was,
the lungs wasn't getting enough, putting out, it was like a leak or something in his lungs. Some valve.
Did he have fluid built up around his lungs?
I think so.
I
Yes.
think so,
Where
yeah.
the lungs are filled with fluid.
Yeah,
Right. And,
that's what happens.
Right.
That's what happens.
And his heart was larger because it had to work harder.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so,
So,
but by the time they got what was it? By the time they got a donor, he ended up passing.
young.
So,
How old was Lawan?
27. 27.
So,
Yeah.
so is this a culture thing, or it can happen to anybody? Is it male dominated, female? I mean, educated.
Mostly in males.
Okay.
And what I've come to find over the last 2 years since I had it, that mostly athletes are getting it, and I'm glad you mentioned that because Nate Tiny Archibald, who was a famous NBA player, he had it and he got treatment for it. One of the GMs for the Lions, who's actually a former athlete, he died from it. There was another guy, a track and field guy that I met through some Facebook group. He had it. He got treatment for it. So it's not guys that are unhealthy. It's the opposite. So, because our diets are high protein, and then the protein leaks in. So it's like if you have a high protein diet, like higher than normal, because when you're an athlete and you're lifting weights, you need that protein to build muscle. And if you have less fat than you're supposed to, it's like that. Like it's not. This disease doesn't affect unhealthy people. It makes healthy people unhealthy.
Right.
So just thinking about that, so everybody's on this new keto diet, which is a very high protein diet where you eating a lot of proteins and fats and nothing white, like no sugar, pasta, rice. You just eating. Could that? I mean, that's scary thinking about it.
I don't know enough about keto to say that, but a lot of these diets, people want something that. So I used to professional bodybuild. There's trophies here. Okay. There's trophies behind me. Okay. See that? I back to the shelf in the back. But like I used to professional bodybuild. So a lot of our, like, everybody's looking for that thing that's gonna make them look a certain way, the best they can look. Right. Everybody's looking for that edge. Everybody's looking for something to make them look better than they look and feel better. But often not. There's always imbalances somewhere. Right. So just going by your regular 40, 30, 30, 40 protein, 30 carbs, 30 fat, just keeping your diet balanced. I stay away from fad diets. You know what I mean? I stay away from the depletion diets. Don't deplete anything from your system. Right. It's not going to go good.
Okay.
I agree.
So
I like that.
Okay.
Don't deplete anything.
So let me eat everything I want.
Anyway, this was I'm glad Bree introduced you to me, Wayne, because it was a really good conversation. And when I appreciate it. Thank you very much. When I come up with another good topic, we're going to call you back. But before we leave, I want each of you, since you're men, to give me one thing that men want that can combine what you want in a woman, your relationship, your family, sex, whatever. That one thing that can bring all that together for you as a man. What do y'all want?
I'll go ahead and answer first. Respect.
Okay.
Respect. I don't know. I think.
So that's everything. That brings everything together.
That brings everything together because if you respect me, and it isn't praising me or nothing like that. It's just a common. You can all of that will work when you respect each other. I think. That's my opinion. I don't know. Yeah.
Connection.
Yeah.
Connection. Okay. Because just like that word encompasses all the things that he just mentioned. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because if we're connected, we're treating each other how we're supposed to. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's no agenda. Okay. There's no hierarchy.
Right.
Okay. We see eye to eye. Now, God may have set that God, man, woman, child. Yes, that's the benchmark. Right. But as we live and breathe every day, there's no, you go listen to me. Well, I don't got it. There's not. Let's see eye to eye. Let's stand with each other. Mm-hmm. And that's really what it. You know what I mean? Like you were created from the rib to stand beside me. Not only that, but you were created from the rib so we can hold each other up. If we're leaning arm in arm, shoulder to shoulder, we can't fall. Mm-hmm. Okay. You know what I mean? We can't fall. We're balanced. We're perfectly balanced. As you lean against me and I lean against you.
Okay. I like that.
I know. I like like that too. Good closing. So tell everybody where they can find you again, Wayne.
WS Howard on Facebook, Next Level Lifestyle on Instagram, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, and you said Did you say marketing strategist earlier?
Yeah, social media and like, so how like if an artist is trying to put their stuff on social media, or they're trying to get their music to a certain place, or they're just trying to find their sound. Like I used to do music, so I kind of have an ear for it. Like I've always loved it. So that was something I gravitated towards, like helping artists find who they want to be instead of falling into the copycat stuff. Like,
okay, that's interesting. All right, well, it was good meeting you. Thank you for coming through Tea with Monroe, the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care. Everybody, good night.
Larry, I'm not gonna buy no more sneakers, Larry. I ain't gonna buy no more sneakers.
At least not that many.
Till October.
How about one pair every 3 months, once a quarter?
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh, you can't. Once a quarter?
I can do that.
All right. You unreasonable. I'm out of here.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, take care. I appreciate everyone who is listening to the podcast today. If you have any questions, comments, or topics you would like for us to discuss in future episodes, email me at twithmonroe@gmail.com. You can also contact me on my DM via Facebook and Twitter at Tea with Monroe, or on Instagram under Monroe Bishop. Thank you, and everyone have a blessed day. Bye.